Hey everyone, and welcome to the show. In this episode, we are going to give you our review of the Star Wars Galactic Dine-In breakfast at the Sci-Fi Dine-In Theater at Disney's Hollywood Studios for Star Wars Weekends. And we are also going to give you our impressions of the rest of Star Wars Weekends and what's new there and what's happening. So that is coming to you live from the Bob Varley Studios here in Orlando, Florida. This is the Diz Unplugged. This is the Diz Unplugged, episode number 806 for the week of May 19th, 2015. The Diz Unplugged is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel, experts at helping you plan the perfect Disney vacation. Visit them on the web at www.dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. Well, hello again, everyone, and welcome to this episode of the Diz Unplugged. I am your host, Dustin West, and I am joined at the table this week by my good friends, John Magi.
Hi, everybody.
Kevin Close.
Hello.
Jenny Lynn Knopp.
Hey, guys.
Miss Julie Martin.
Hola.
And back in the production nook, we have our associate producer, Craig Williams. I threw you off there.
You did.
We have Rhino Clavin.
Hello.
He's just Rhino. And back in the back, we have Pete's good friend, Mr. Kevin. Gilbert. I don't know what to call you. Just Kevin. Just Rhino and Craig. Well, again, welcome everybody. We have a lot to talk about, but one of the big things that has been happening this week is, of course, the start of the 2015 Star Wars Weekends. And this is a very important year for Star Wars Weekends because, of course, this year we have a new Star Wars film coming out. And some of that is going to work its way into Star Wars Weekends. And there have been a few changes from the last couple of years. Star Wars Weekends has been kind of following the same mold, but there have been some new additions. And I know JL and Craig had an opportunity to go to the media preview for that and got to experience some of the stuff that was at Star Wars Weekends. And we'll talk a little bit about that in a little while. But me and Pete and John and Kevin actually got the chance to experience let me try and get this name right, the Star Wars Galactic Dine-In breakfast at the Sci-Fi Dine-In Theater at Disney's Hollywood Studios. And this is one of two character dining experiences at Disney's Hollywood Studios for Star Wars Weekends. The other one takes place at the Hollywood and Vine restaurant at night, and that features Star Wars themed Disney characters, so like Mickey Mouse dressed up as Jedi Mickey and so forth. This is a different character experience. This is a breakfast, and this features the actual villains of the Star Wars movies. So I'm kind of going to throw it over to Kevin to kind of round this out. You're the dining review guy, so let's talk about our experience that we had at this breakfast.
First of all, name all of the characters that were there.
There's a little guy with glowing eyes.
Right.
There's the guys in the white Tupperware. There was a green guy with spikes sticking out of his head.
The big villain was there.
You weren't all that big.
He was kind of same size as we were.
I am. First of all, there's no secret. I'm just not a fan.
Okay.
I've seen the first three movies, and I don't care what number they are. They were the ones that came out in the 70s. And I liked them then, I guess. But it's never been my thing. So I went into this thinking, it'll be over soon. I went into an MRI yesterday the same way.
Just hold your breath.
It'll be over in a little while.
Push this button when you start to panic.
Well, do you mind if I just clarify those characters for the people that are listening?
No, not.
Okay.
That's much better than Kevin described it.
The green pointy guy is Greedo, who from the first film. He has a very famous scene with Han Solo. There's also a set of stormtroopers that roam around the dining room, the Tupperware guys. And there are the Jawas, the little glowy-eyed guys. There's two Jawas that roam
that are
around
like
the
junk traders.
Exactly. They trade
Gotcha.
droids and junk. And then there's also an experience when you first come in. We'll get to that.
So, I went into this thinking, I'll put up with this. When you first go in, you're called to your table, and there's a photo experience, and you get to have your picture taken with Boba Fett.
Got it right.
That's right. And Darth Vader. Well, John and I are very tall, and Darth Vader wasn't. So no matter how hard we tried to get him into the picture with us, he wanted to stand much closer to the
He did. He stood further in front of us. And I kept
So
saying, no,
there
back here,
is
back
a
here.
good 3 feet between us and Darth Vader. And every time I tried to put my arm around him, get him into the picture, he moved forward. He did not want to be. He wanted to be the tallest one in the picture, and I can understand that that's his job. I was amused by that, so I thought, stand wherever you want.
He has a rep to keep.
There you go. So after that, they take you in and...
Well, actually, I'm sorry, Kevin. Before we go too far into this review, I actually have a video that I want to show that just kind of gives you an overview of what it was like in the dining experience for that. I almost forgot about it. I'm sorry. Let's cut to that video real quick, and then we'll come back to the review.
And then cut back to me.
Yes.
There we go. All right.
Well, thank you, Dustin, for that amazing video that I put together.
Little pat on the back.
Little pat on
All
the
right,
back.
I'm leaving.
Yeah, Kevin warned me if I do any shtick that he's just going to get up and leave. All right, sorry for the interruption, but let's continue on with what we were talking about.
They took us into the restaurant, and we were taken to our table, and our waiter was terrific. We all felt over the course of the morning that the waiter was better than
The location.
the location.
Yeah.
He was a really good waiter, really good server.
If he's a waiter that is normally at the Sci-Fi Dine-In theater, then he'll be promoted soon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
he's really good. As soon as we sat down, they brought us the menu is broken up into a couple of different things. There's the Star Wars breakfast pastries. Then there's Anchorhead appetizers and entrees. In the video, there were the pastries. They were vanilla cream turnover. That was the thing with the little white chocolate
Square.
Darth Vader square on top of it. There were puff pastry sticks, and that's what they were. They were puff pastries, and they had like a frosting and then sprinkles on top. Cinnamon rolls and the double chocolate muffin. I like the puff pastry sticks. I'm not sure anybody else loved them. However, the double chocolate muffins were good.
We got more.
Very good.
We actually asked for more of those.
Yeah.
The cinnamon rolls were, in my opinion, not as fresh as they could have been, but
They looked to me like the ones you would get at a gas station, individually
like a
wrapped.
little Debbie kind of thing.
Yeah.
They weren't very good. And the vanilla cream turnover was a puff pastry with, I know this will surprise you, vanilla cream in the middle.
Oh, wow.
It was all right. Onto then everybody got, this is part of what's included, a Greek yogurt parfait with fresh berries and homemade granola or a seasonal fresh fruit and berries. Now, we got 2 of each because there were 4 of us. I have never had fruit that had virtually no flavor whatsoever. The little Yoda head was made out of cantaloupe, and if you had closed your eyes and I had given you a bite of this, there is no way you could have told me that this was cantaloupe.
It was honeydew, I think. It was
I'm
green.
sorry, honeydew. You're right. It's the green one.
Yeah.
No flavor whatsoever. And the other fruit was chopped up so fine that there was, I don't think it was really ripe fruit, so there was no flavor developed.
Was it mushy?
It was kind of, some of it was mushy and some of it was kind of hard.
But it was mostly berries, so they should be in season.
No, it
right
wasn't.
now.
There was one black raspberry. I ate all
Okay.
4 of them.
Oh, I'm thinking of the yogurt. I'm sorry.
I took all 4 of the black raspberries. And then the yogurt came out.
Greek yogurt is gross.
This was a couple layers of different flavors, and I wish Dustin had had a camera with him to
If there was only some way he could have recorded our
our
reaction.
reaction. 4
Eating
people
the
went,
yogurt.
ooh. This was the tartest yogurt I've ever had. There was no sugar to it at all. Your kids aren't going to eat it.
It was the kind where you have the fruit at the bottom, you mix that in,
And it didn't
even
help.
doing that,
Doesn't help, I know. Greek
Yeah.
yogurt's gross.
This is kind of the end of the bad news.
yeah.
After this, and again, our waiter was excellent. And we asked him, we ordered what we wanted, but he let us know that we could have more of anything. It was, there was no limits on what you could do.
Because this is a pay one price type of thing, where you
Right.
had one price for everybody.
Yeah.
And we said to him, could we try some of the other stuff? And he said, absolutely. So we actually ordered 2 or 3 extra items.
I thought this was going to be just us, but I've talked to someone else who has gone, and they were given the same leeway. So it's
No.
not just us.
He didn't announce that to us, though. We just kind of assumed.
Oh, no,
that.
I asked him. I said, can I try something? I wanted to try the waffle.
Yeah.
In addition to what I ordered.
And then he
said,
basically said, you can have whatever you want.
I said, yeah, I'll bring you whatever
Yeah.
you want.
And it was nice. We were able to treat this experience as if it was a buffet, but yet we had somebody. A buffet.
About it.
Yet we had somebody bringing things to us.
So here we go. Here are the entrees. The first entree is the Dune Sea, a puff pastry filled with scrambled eggs, crab, asparagus, and Gruyere cheese with roasted tomatoes and avocado. The Kessel Run, it is grilled beef tenderloin, oven roasted tomato with bacon and cheddar custard, baby spinach, and cheesy horseradish potatoes. Tatooine Sunrise, scrambled eggs, Newski's bacon, sausage links, and breakfast potatoes. An Imperial Delight, which is macadamia-crusted brioche French toast with mascarpone and fresh berries. The Akbar Surprise, smoked paprika-dusted shrimp, pan-seared and served with cheesy grits.
Oh, I'm going to stop you right there. I feel like they have a missed opportunity in not calling it "It's a Trap."
Yeah.
You know, they call it the Akbar Surprise.
That's why I was like, do you order it? And then the waiter just is like, it's a trap.
Okay, sorry.
Chorizo oil drizzle.
He's not amused.
Well, you cut me off before the last item. Then there's Mose Eisley's Morning. Egg white omelet with shiitake mushrooms and caramelized onions, garlic roasted fingerling potatoes, and Greek yogurt with berries. Oh, that shows up twice. And then finally, the Darth Vader waffle. That was in the video also. Maple syrup and a choice of bacon or sausage. In the kids' menu, which none of us tried, there's Kenobi cuisine, scrambled eggs, bacon, and breakfast potatoes, Darth Vader waffle, and Gamorrean goodness.
You got that right.
Puffed French toast sticks, tossed in cinnamon sugar with chocolate dipping sauce. Adults $49.99, $50, and kids 9 and under $31.99. 18% gratuity for parties of 6 or more. Okay, now we'll talk about the food. I think we ordered most of this.
Yeah, I think we ordered the big items that would probably be appealing to most people.
I started with the Dune Sea. And at the table, whenever we go out to do a restaurant review, we always joke, oh, you were the winner, oh, you were the loser. I was the loser this time. It was a puff pastry shaped like Yoda's head, which is good. My eggs were dry and crumbly. I think they were powdered eggs.
I agree with you.
Dustin had scrambled eggs with his, which obviously were not.
They were clearly fresh.
The other thing I will say is I got this as well. One of the things that it talks about is having crab. There's actually a crab claw on top, which completely surprised me. I thought it was going to be that fake crab.
And an inch of asparagus.
So I didn't think it was as bad as you did. I actually enjoyed mine very much.
Your eggs were better than mine. I don't know if mine were.
You got the bottom of the pan, it
That's
sounds
probably-
like.
Might have gotten the buffet.
And it came with a giant's half
Yeah.
of a tomato with breadcrumbs on top that had been run.
That did not look appetizing.
I'm going to be honest with you. I like ketchup. I like tomato sauce. I like tomatoes in my food. I am not a fan of the plain old hot tomato.
Just a grilled tomato with stuff on it.
It just doesn't
It's
appeal
like a
to me.
filler garnish.
It's,
Yeah.
right. It's something they use to fill up the
It
plate.
does look pretty.
Yeah, I guess.
Dustin
Dustin
Yeah.
got the
Tatooine
the
sunrise.
Tatooine sunrise.
Unlike you, the eggs were the standout portion of this. It seemed like they even might have had a little bit of cheese sprinkled into the eggs. My bacon that I had, this is the closest thing to just like the American breakfast, eggs, bacon, sausage, stuff like that. The bacon for me was Newski's bacon, and it was a bit on the salty side for me, and it was it had a really smoky flavor, like it had been I don't know, sitting in like a grill or something for a while. But I was able to eat that. The sausage was by and large better than your normal Disney buffet sausage links. Much better. And then I had the cheesy potatoes, which were out of this world.
They were good.
No pun
I tried
intended.
that bacon. I thought that bacon was really good.
I agree with
that's just a
Dustin.
different-
Salty and smoky.
I thought it was
and
too
it's-
salty.
Different tastes, I think.
I thought it was great.
Pete ordered the Kessel Run. Pete won.
Yeah.
Grilled beef tenderloin with oven roasted tomato, again with a tomato, and bacon and cheddar custard, baby spinach, and cheesy horseradish potatoes.
And he substituted his horseradish potatoes for the regular cheesy potatoes.
Because he doesn't like spinach.
Well, he doesn't like horseradish for those, but the spinach was not like canned spinach.
Okay.
It wasn't like Popeye spinach. It was just spinach
Leaves,
leaves,
okay.
like you would find in a salad.
I mean, one swipe and you could have moved both of them off to the side.
Yeah.
Pete's cheddar custard, bacon and cheddar custard, was about the size of a small Dixie cup like they had made it. That's how big it
Yeah.
was. It was 4 or 5 good bites, and he let every one of us try it. We ordered more of those. They were
The
really
waiter actually
good.
brought us 2 more on a little plate. They were really good.
And we'll have a link to Pete's article article that he wrote about this in the show notes page. If you go to disunplugged.com, you'll be able to see all the photos and all the descriptions of the things that we're talking about.
We also ordered an side of the horseradish potatoes, the cheesy horseradish potatoes. And while there was a horseradish flavor, it was not strong or overpowering.
His steak was very good. I got a chance
Yeah.
to try his steak. It was done perfectly. It was tender. It was delicious. So
Yeah, 'cause
this
we
was
all-
really the standout of the
Yeah.
of the meal.
We all thought this was going to be a steak at a breakfast with Star Wars characters. And it turned out that it was a filet, and it was he was very pleased with
Yeah.
it. The
was
last
good.
thing we ordered was the Darth Vader waffle. And the only problem I have with ordering waffles out is that by the time waffles don't hold the heat. They just don't. So by the time, and it was in the video, it was very charming. It came out looking like Darth Vader, and they brought out a little plate with syrup and whipped cream on the side. The problem with a waffle is that the waffle just is cold by the time it
was
gets to you.
tasty. I think it was done right.
Well, okay. Well, then I have a differing opinion than you. I expect my waffles to be a little more crispy, whereas pancakes are a little more fluffy. I felt like this was a little too fluffy but that could just be how they made it that moment.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was all right. I thought it had a good flavor.
I didn't care for what I ordered, but I cared for I liked the other stuff. I thought that bacon and cheddar custard was good. I thought the potatoes were good. I like the little chocolate muffins that came with it.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things somebody kept telling me was before I went in that you had to order the blue milk because apparently somebody drinks blue milk.
In the first Star Wars movie, that being Star Wars Episode 4: A New Hope, Luke's aunt and uncle, Aunt Beru and Uncle
Owen.
Owen,
Come on,
thank you.
Dustin.
Oh my goodness. Beru and Luke are in the kitchen and they get like the 1970s Tupperware pitcher out and she's pouring what looks like blue milk. It's actually bantha milk.
Bantam is an animal.
Can you see my expression?
I've
We ordered
captured
the
it.
blue milk. It is milk flavored with blueberry. And while at my age I thought it was a little gross, I can imagine that every child on Earth and Dustin are going to
Including me.
enjoy this.
I loved it. It's like chocolate milk, except replace chocolate with blueberry, and it was wonderful.
Yeah.
Some of the other drink options were, excuse me, you got coffee. The coffee was actually very good, surprisingly good coffee for Disney. They had juice options if you wanted to have juice or milk or soda. Kevin got a Diet Coke with his.
These are all included. You can also order Bloody Marys and mimosas.
That's at a premium,
At
I'm
an
sure.
extra
Right?
cost.
It's specialty drinks. A Bloody Mary is $7.25, and a mimosa with orange juice and prosecco is $9. We did not have those. Again, I am completely the wrong audience for this, but I can see why this is very popular with people who are Star Wars fans. We had a reservation, but I do know somebody who went the same weekend we went as a walk-up. Just
Okay.
walked up and got a table.
Wow.
I don't know if that's still going to be possible as this gets into full swing, but it was last weekend. They would not take his reservation at the front of the park. However, they suggested you walk up. So I would suggest if you can't get a reservation, just walk up and ask. And, they'll tell you yes or
There
no.
were quite a few empty cars when we went. I was surprised at that. I thought it was going to be completely full.
And we saw a good mix of different types of people there. You saw some, younger couples in their, full Star Wars gear, but of course a lot of families with young kids were there. It was a good mix.
One of the nice things is that everyone gets a little gift when you go in, and they give you this thing that I guess is supposed to be a lightsaber,
Does it turn on? Oh, yeah.
and has red and blue and
Nothing.
The cool thing is it does have the little event
Right, it has the
logo
event
on the
logo.
side
Yeah.
of it.
it's a nice little thing. They don't have to do that, so I think that's pretty cool. They give you that.
It was also a bonus because it was unusually dark in there.
Oh, usually dark for that restaurant. That restaurant is always dark. But yeah, this helped us to see what we were eating and what we were.
There was a lot of iPhone flashlights on
Yeah.
just to see where the food was. It was very, very dark.
The whole time you're there, there's a quote unquote movie playing. There's something on the screen.
Yeah, they have completely replaced the loop on the dine-in screen from the traditional like horror movies and sci-fi movies to
What'd you say?
Horror.
Oh.
I'm sorry, to a
Horror.
a brand new Star Wars themed loop, which had a whole bunch of different stuff. They had trailers from all 7 movies. They had James Arnold Taylor comes up at the beginning of the loop and says, "I'm here with R2D2, and we're trying to show off Star Wars." And then they also, you saw it in the video if you're watching, they had like little like commercials for like Jawa salesmen or traders, and all the different things that they trade, or join the stormtroopers. There's a whole bunch of cool little things, and I felt like the time when we were there, maybe it went through 3 or 4 times through the loop, but there was enough going on with the character interaction that I felt like I still didn't see everything that was on that movie loop, and I could have stayed in there and like watched the whole thing through, and actually been quite entertained as a Star Wars fan.
Breakfast moved at a good pace. There wasn't a lot of lag time, but also we were never rushed out of our table.
No.
Even at the end, when everything was said and done and the table was cleared, he kept asking us if we'd like more coffee or more drinks and things like that. So it wasn't that, get out, I've got more people to serve. So this is $50, and I would just tell yourself that the food is included. You are paying $50 for this event.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. You get breakfast with it. And from what we saw, for the vast majority, the breakfast was okay.
Yeah,
I thought the character interaction was great, actually. I
Yeah.
thought it was paced well. I thought it was, the characters were good. They were in character. They were reacting with us and talking to us. So I think that it was a good experience.
You had gotten up to go outside.
Yeah, it was funny.
And one of the little guys with the light up eyes,
The Jawas.
yeah, came over and you had left your sunglasses on the table. And he picked your sunglasses up and took out a little flashlight and looked them all over and then looked at me and shook his head no and put your sunglasses back in.
Yeah, the Jawas had a little bag of like different spare parts for droids and
So
stuff.
it was like they were shopping on the tables and stuff. Again, wrong audience. I thought that was cute. I thought the stormtroopers were good. I
You
don't
know-
what are they good stormtroopers?
They were good
They were.
stormtroopers. Yeah, they're very good in character. They did their thing, and I think it was all done very well.
The characters were, like you said, not only was the meal paced out well, but the characters were paced out well.
And they weren't stingy with their time. They
No.
posed for pictures. They were around a couple of times. So
I have a question. Is this the first year they've done this?
I think they did it last year as
They
well.
did it last year as well.
Yeah.
I was concerned that it seemed like it was very good food, that the quality may go down from year to year. But if this is the second year they've done it, then the food quality is actually very good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I think I agree with Kevin. You are paying for this experience. You just happen to be getting good quality food along with it. At $50 a person, this is if you think about you're going on vacation, especially if you have, designed your vacation around Star Wars weekend, I don't think people are going to have a problem paying this amount for this experience.
Also, they did accept Tables in Wonderland.
Oh, right.
So that was a nice little discount.
They
off
did
of that.
not accept Tables in Wonderland.
Oh, that's
there was
right.
no Tables in Wonderland except in
that's
Hollywood
right.
Studios during Star Wars
I'm
weekend.
sorry, you're right.
Anywhere.
There's something else they took.
Right,
I
yeah, they've
apologize.
completely-
Right. No Tables in Wonderland.
At any restaurant.
Yeah, they suspended the whole thing throughout Star Wars weekends.
Sorry.
Again, it's a lot for breakfast. If you're thinking you're just going to a breakfast, it's a lot.
So, who would you recommend this to?
If you're going for Star Wars weekend,
I
go
mean,
for
yeah,
it.
if you're going
already
for Star Wars
that,
weekend, if that's the thrust of your planning, I would say add this to it. It's part of it. If you're just looking for a place to have breakfast and you don't care about the Star Wars,
Yeah.
you can buy breakfast for a lot less.
Right.
Don't get involved in the event if you're not interested. I would never have paid this. I just wouldn't. It's not something I would go to do. I went because we were going to talk about it and ended up enjoying myself.
Excellent. Cool. Well, thank you.
And we bought annual passes again.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
John and I are annual pass holders again.
Congratulations.
So stop emailing me.
and we had fun that day. We did. We had fun, and I'm glad to see you guys coming back in the parks, and hope you guys keep doing that. Craig, you have a lightsaber.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're getting festive. Well, thank you, Kevin and John and myself for that review of the Star Wars Galactic Dine-In breakfast experience. I do want to move on to, in specific, Jenny Lynn and Craig, who have had the chance to experience some of the other stuff that's been going on at Star Wars weekends. We got a little bit of time, and maybe we can just chat about what's new and what's different compared to last year, and what are some of your opinions? I know Craig might have a few opinions on some certain things. So,
While we're still talking about food, one of the new things that they have there this year is the Rebel Hangar Lounge. That's set up in the Backlot Express, and it's kind of off to the side, and they've decorated it a little bit to make it look like a hangar where some of these more sketchy characters from Star Wars might spend some downtime as they're transitioning. It's the food looked good. We didn't get a chance to taste any of it, but I'm hearing good things from people that have.
It's essentially a small plate tapas, appetizers, and cocktail style menu, and it's not only running just during Star Wars weekends. It's also running during the weekdays as well. I believe it opens at 4 o'clock and runs till like 8 o'clock, and then on the weekends it's when the park closes at either 9 or 10.
Is the Backlot Express closed for the entire duration of Star Wars weekends as part of that?
No, during the morning the Backlot Express was still open for normal food service, and then they have to take over a lot of that space to convert into the menu for Rebel Hangar at night.
I was a little confused because I heard that reservations are hard to get there and whatnot. How exactly does this work? This isn't a walk-up kind of thing, right?
You can, but they obviously recommend that you get ADRs through My Disney Experience, like any other restaurant.
So is it kind of similar to how they handle Be Our Guest or the lunch there or something? Or is it a different system?
It's just like any restaurant.
Okay.
You can make a reservation and then you show up and give them your name and they let you in, and then you have, it's not a dinner.
Okay.
It's all appetizer style.
Appetizers, but appetizers that are of such a size that they're meant to share.
Okay.
So
Yeah, and some of the things they have is like a Darth Vader chicken and waffles. So it's not the same size Darth Vader waffle that you had at your breakfast. One of the mini ones like you would get at Ohana or some of the character breakfast with Darth Vader on it. And then what was sad to see is it's just the exact same chicken nuggets that they have on the kids menu placed on the plate with it. So I've heard a lot of good feedback about the food, saying while it's basically overpriced, it's still a really unique dining experience. One of the coolest things you can get there is this year they added a Han Solo frozen in carbonite popcorn bucket, and at the Darth Maul gift shop you can get that with popcorn, but at Rebel Hangar you can get the 3 specialty cupcakes that they have this year served inside the bucket for only like $17. So it's kind of a good value for a really cool bucket, and You know, Disney and their cupcakes. You know how I feel about that. They're everywhere at every special event all the time. And
This year they have a Darth
Except
Vader
for the 40th
one.
anniversary when they only made 40.
This year their cupcakes are Darth Vader, which is all chocolate, and then
chocolate peanut butter.
Okay, chocolate peanut butter, and then Jabba the Hutt is salted caramel, and then Yoda.
Maybe Yoda's the chocolate peanut butter.
Yeah, I think Darth Vader is the chocolate, and then Yoda is the chocolate peanut butter, if I'm not mistaken.
And just so we know, any food you buy on Disney property, I think the word overpriced is a given. Mm-hmm. It just always is.
Yeah.
I these seemed a little more overpriced even for me in terms of what I saw. In terms of, I mean, the prices I were going from about $10 to $15 for these appetizers, so I'd say it's a little on the high side. The cocktails looked excellent, and they are served with a X-wing little glow
I saw that.
type thing that you can only get at Rebel Hangar.
Okay.
So I know a lot of people are actually lucking out and they're getting the walk-up reservations for it. So it's definitely possible to get in. And if you really had your heart set on Backlot Express a couple weeks ago, I believe Kevin talked about the pre-menu where you go and Backlot Express would just have it ordered ahead of time. That's how they're still handling Backlot Express right
Okay.
now. So that's Rebel Hangar in a nutshell.
Yeah, and they, as far as what's going on, they've got some repeats. You know, the Stars and the Symphony fireworks, the motorcade. What did you think about the motorcade this year?
The motorcade's literally the same thing it's every year. It only changes based on what celebrities are there for the weekend. It's getting busier and busier every year at Star Wars weekends. This year was absolutely the busiest I've ever seen it on that opening day.
With that.
And for the Legends of the Force motorcade, I would say you need to be ready to get a spot. The parade starts at 11:30, I want to say.
Yeah, I
It was
believe so.
11:30, so I would say it's safe to start getting a spot around 10 o'clock or 9:30 even. And Hollywood Studios is not shaded really well. It is, if you're looking towards Great Movie Ride, the left side of the street is in the shade that morning, but the right side isn't. And of course, the only spaces if you show up at like 10:30, 11 o'clock are going to be on the side that's in the beating sun, and my sunburn is still trying to recover.
I'm really surprised they still do that. It's such a crowded park for that event, and that takes up so much space and just ruins the entire flow.
It's right in the front of the park.
I think they
You'd think
just
they'd
have
find
this
something
compulsion. They
else.
have to have a parade of some sort.
Yeah.
They also still have the Jedi Training Academy for children,
Right.
and if kids are wanting to do that, you need to sign up for that first thing in the morning.
Sign up early, and I think that's at the
Very
Sounds
early.
Dangerous Theater, right? That the sign
Well,
up.
no, they're doing it just on the regular stage.
Okay. No, I meant the sign-ups.
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then they've got their run of shows. Now, some of
Yeah.
them are returning, like the Saga of the Stars, which is that TV talk show type.
It's kind of a panel
show.
of all the different guests that they have.
And then their Obi-Wan and Beyond show with James Arnold Taylor, who kind of showcases all the different million voices that
Planning
he
on
can do. He's amazing.
Planning on seeing that later this week.
Oh
That's
my-
the one I am looking most forward to.
I could watch that.
Yeah.
I do watch that show every year. It's that good. And then they've got a few new things that are tied in with their new, what is it? Star Wars Rebels. That's on Disney XD. They've got 2 shows wrapped around that concept. I did not get a chance to see those yet, so I don't have an opinion on them. But it is cool, like you were saying. This Star Wars Weekends is neat because we are seeing the coming in of a few of the new things are being
Yeah.
introduced.
Well, Rebels is from last year. So
Okay.
but
they-
now Rebels has started airing.
Yeah, well, they had some events based around it last year too
Yeah.
to kind of showcase it, and they did add one new show with it this year too. In terms of the shows, it's don't go expecting any information about The Force Awakens.
Right.
I would say this is. I can't remember who we were talking to during our media event, but someone described it as it has to be like the lull of a year in Star Wars Weekends, because next year they have to incorporate The Force Awakens into
Right.
it. They couldn't take the chance of having any big spoilers coming out.
Well, imagine
this
next
far
year.
out.
Imagine next year we're going to have a whole new set of characters to meet and greet with. I'm sure at some point there will probably be an announcement of new attractions or something. So I think next year is going to be even more exciting.
while we're talking about The Force Awakens, that makes me think of the merchandise category
Right.
of all of this, because they're handling that in a new way. And you're actually not going to find very much Star Wars, The Force Awakens merchandise. They have one T-shirt.
But am I wrong? First of all, we have a video that I'm going to have in the show notes page that Craig and JL put together that has interviews with some of the head creatives that are in charge of Star Wars Weekends, and also with James Arnold Taylor, who's the host of Star Wars Weekends. And that has a lot of this stuff detailed in that. So that'll be in the show notes page. But I remember hearing in one of those interviews that shirt was like the first branded merchandise thing that they've started selling for the movie.
Yes, I believe
all.
so. And it is the only thing that you can find in all of the
anywhere.
merchandise that has anything to do with the new film coming out. But back to the merchandise, something new that they're doing, Darth Maul has moved
Right.
back to where the old backlot tour was.
The AFI building, right? The exit.
It is divided into 3 separate storefronts, which I think was actually very smart of them to do. So there's the X-Wing
Collectibles.
X-Wing Collectibles, which is more of the higher end, pricey, limited edition type items. It's where like you get the D-Tech Me and Dooney and Burks and all of that kind of stuff.
The outrageously expensive action
Right.
figure customized.
There are Dooney and Burks, like Star Wars Dooney and Burks.
Yes.
Yeah. So and then
She
there's
has said 8 words.
Indian Burke? He's perked up.
No,
Julie, you're still
I
here.
found it funny. I'm sorry.
I know. I've been watching Julie's face, and I looked at it, I was like, don't have a lot to add to any of this.
Then there's the Watto's Grotto's storefront, which
She's just
is
saying
stuff like the Her Universe and the plush toys and the build your own lightsaber and build your own droids, all of that.
And was Watto there?
Oh, that would have been cool.
The Jedi mind tricks, they don't work on me.
The thing that I liked about Watto's Grotto is that they also have a refreshment bar in it, which I thought was
Squeedo.
smart.
Sorry.
They also have a refreshment bar in it, which I thought was smart because you can spend a lot of time waiting in these lines. And so by the time you actually get into the store, you're maybe wanting something to eat or drink. And they've got the cupcakes and
When they had Darth Small at Mickey Avenue last year and a few of the years before, that's also where they had the bar that had the specialty drinks. And I thought that was a brilliant decision to put that.
It is.
Because shopping at Darth Small in what it used to be when it was all just one big space, I mean, that was an experience that you waited in line for.
Mm-hmm.
You spend as much time in there as you can and you grab things. So you're not just in and out. It's like, oh, I'm going to grab a drink while I'm in here, too, because I'm going to be here for a while.
right.
And that's the biggest problem this year with separating it. Before, whenever they'd have it back behind Rock and Roller Coaster or even in
Mickey
Soundstage 1, you waited in that line a long time, but once you got in, you had everything right there for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
And now, by separating, I mean, well, the third shop was the prop shop, and that's
Yeah,
literally
prop
in the old Roger Rabbit space that anyone can walk up. You don't have to wait in a line
Just
for
your
it.
basic stuff, your Star Wars beanie hats and Princess Leia mini plush toys, the Legos. That's where you can find the Legos, and the kids have a chance to build a little mini thing.
If you
but
go to the Star Tours gift shop, you'll find the exact same crap
Build
there.
your own droid
yeah.
and build your lightsaber
it's
stuff.
it's the very basic stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, I understand what you're saying. Like, I know when they had Darth Maul before, they even had like opportunities to take like photo
They had
opportunities.
photos,
That I was in Watto's Grottos. They didn't have that. I don't know what it's like in the X-Wing collectibles. The thing that I do like about this is that it seems like you can get more people in more places quicker.
Yeah.
And the person who's shopping for what's in the X-Wing collectibles is not necessarily the same person that's going to be shopping at the prop shop.
Right.
Or maybe even Watto's Grottos. There's a different price range. So while it kind of stinks that if you do want to hit all of them, you have to wait in the line.
3 separate lines.
3 separate lines at the same time. If you're going in there for something very specific, this is a much more efficient way to do it.
Okay. So there's pros and cons to splitting it up
Sure,
that way.
sure.
Mostly cons.
Mostly cons, says Craig.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's just because, and it's actually my biggest bone to pick with Star Wars weekends this year, because part of shopping, as anyone knows, especially all of us at this table, is the browsing aspect of it. And I also think of, like, with Watto's Grotto, that's the big place to go in because that has your branded merchandise for Star Wars weekends, some of the limited edition pins, and as Jenny Lynn mentioned, the refreshment stand that has the Han Solo popcorn bucket I already mentioned, and the very, very limited, they're going to sell out every weekend and hold some aside, as it goes on, but a Boba Fett Stein that was gone by Saturday for this first weekend. So it's awesome, and it's going to keep going. So you have this great stuff there, but then over in X-Wing Collectibles, that's where they have like all the licensed artwork and some of the cool things that, you know, these people are trying to make a living on their artwork and stuff. And before they had that foot traffic going past it. Now, if people think they can get everything they want in that one store and not even bother with it, they're just hurting.
That's a good point. Yeah, if you're separating all the higher end stuff, you know, those guys are not going to get as much foot traffic. That's absolutely true.
Yeah, and maybe they don't deserve it, but at the same time, why, God, Disney, put everything together like it was before. It didn't hurt anyone the old way.
Okay, so let me ask you this, because I know there's not too much else that's brand new with Star Wars weekends, and I kind of want to wrap up here pretty soon, as Kevin goes. I need to know how does this, just in a general form, how does this compare to years past, and would you recommend a Star Wars fan and a Disney fan to go there or avoid it, or what's the general diagnosis here?
Well, it's definitely busy, but I really enjoyed it. I felt like it was hot. I was sweating. I was hungry. I was tired, and
Sounds like personal problems.
I was still having a really great time. What costume were you wearing? I was dressed as Jenny Lynn in a Star Wars t-shirt that day. Anyway, but I was still having a really great time, and I feel like the cast members seemed to be having a really great time. I even when I went to the backlot tour to get pictures of the cupcakes, had extremely great interaction with the cast member. Unelli was her name. She was amazing, so friendly, to the point that even when I just needed the pictures to tweet out of the cupcakes, but then when I was done, she was like, pick whichever one you like and you can have it, and gave it to me. And I was like, oh my gosh, are you serious? And she said yes. And then she started to pack it up, and I was so excited because it was my son's 13th birthday. And he's the Star Wars, not like Star Wars psycho in our house. So I was like, oh, I'll take it home to my son for, his birthday. She was like, it's his birthday today? And I said, yeah. And she was like, take another one. She sent me home with 2 cupcakes for free. And that wasn't it. Like, I got quite a bit of interaction with the cast members, asking them questions because I was having to tweet out information about the merchandise and, selfies with the characters and all of that. Everyone was completely on point, and I had a really great time.
Good. How about you, Craig?
I've been to Star Wars weekends now, I think the past 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
Basically every year I've lived here. And I would say, for me, personally, if you've been here either last year or the year before, then I would probably say if it wouldn't have been worth it to plan this one-time trip out of it. Just nothing's changed, really. In the hindsight, the last big change happened whenever they killed off the greatest... Yeah, the hyperspace hoopla.
Yeah,
the greatest show that they had at Star Wars weekends. I love Symphony and the Star fireworks, but the hyperspace hoopla was just so unique and weird and
just like funny and like I don't know.
So it sounds to me like you're saying this isn't the greatest year they've ever done it. Maybe don't plan your vacation around it, even though it's already happening.
If you did, you're still going to have fun.
Yeah.
But I think next year is going to be the year to put all your stake in.
The movie will have come out. I think we're going to see a lot of new stuff coming next year. But at the same time, if you're in the parks during this time, you can still have fun while at Star Wars weekends. Okay, cool.
I have a little fact about Star Wars weekends we haven't mentioned yet. If you're a DVC member and you go up to one of the kiosks and you show your DVC member card, you get a free poster.
So. I did. I got my... And they were giving out posters for annual pass holders.
What did the poster look like? Was it a cool poster, or was it something you could buy somewhere else?
It was, it was a smaller poster. It wasn't like, mind blowing.
I still think that's a nice thing to do.
Yeah, it is.
For annual pass holders, they're doing. That was weird.
Nobody acknowledged that.
We had a little cameo for those of you listening. We had a Jedi lightsaber cameo by Pete, and tried to kill Craig.
We've been doing this for 10 years, or however long it's been. I don't know how long it's been. Nothing surprises me anymore. Nothing phases me.
The annual pass holder posters, they are doing one different one every week. So this past weekend, it was a Yoda one, and they have a set number of supplies that they have. every day of the weekend, and I believe they kind of got rid of them around like 11:30,
How do
1
you get
o'clock.
those? How would someone go get them?
They had it set up over by
The-
Toy Story Midway Mania.
By where the Legends of Jack Sparrow attraction was.
Yes.
And they're just, you walk up to them, tell them you're an annual pass holder, and they give you your poster and you walk away.
That reminds me. How about the limited edition magic bands? Where are those? In the
Then Watto's Grottos, you can find those in Watto's
Okay.
Grottos.
I heard people were disappointed that there was none. It wasn't the one from last year. The Darth Vader one wasn't.
Nope, this year
Available.
there's Jedi Mickey and Donald.
as
one.
somebody. He's not a stormtrooper. He's somebody. As a Mace Windu. That's who it is. It's Donald as Mace Windu. Cool. Okay. Well, if nobody else has anything else, I think that's going to do it for our.
Julie?
Joey
Anything?
Dad.
I think that is going to do it for our coverage of Star Wars weekends and for John and Kevin's review of the Star Wars Galactic Dine-In breakfast. So that is going to do it for us this week. We hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you again for the next episode of the Diz Unplugged. Thanks for watching.